Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of our 4th Age Total War Rohan No Deaths run, where the goal is to complete our mission objectives for the campaign without having any factions eliminated. And so far we've managed to do that. We are sallying out now from a siege, though, that the Dunlandings have just raised around our capital. This is the outpost of Dol Baran. This is just our capital for the purposes of avoiding public order penalties across our increasingly far-flung realm. And the sieging army is full of Dunlandish horsemen. Now this is like a tier 2 unit, I think, but it is very, very dangerous if they are used well. And when there's a lot of them, the AI tends to use them pretty well, which is kind of rare for skirmish cav. But these guys, you know, if they get thrown in en masse, they're going to do okay. Also got some Dunlandish huntsmen. Inside the fort, we've got our own variety of Dunlanding mercenaries, and then we've got, of course, our family member here. This is Eofarid of the King's Lands, but he's not going to go out there by himself because he would get killed. We do have some reinforcements.
Your reinforcements have arrived. This is hopeful news indeed.
And we've got a cav army. So we'll have them all meet up and march up the hill here. It looks like they're turning to meet that threat. So I'll possibly send them around this way, and we'll speed this up a bit. Alright, so our troops are just about in place, and the nice thing about cavalry is if you walk them, they're going to remain fresh, like pretty much no matter what. We just went up a pretty substantial hill there, and all these cavalry are still fresh. If you marched infantry up there, they'd be tired or worse. So cavalry are pretty decent in that regard. We got some stragglers coming in. Just double check. Okay, these guys frighten the nearby enemy, which means they're not limited to infantry. So we may bring them around to pressure these guys. But for now, let's get our lancers out. I'm going to group them. And then the AI has set itself up in a pretty reasonable way here. Alright, so we'll just charge down the center. Alright, they're kind of choosing targets, but you know, when they're in a group they can do that, but they're not always the best at it. And so it would have been nice to have these guys grouped with some other units. We're going to get caught over here, so let's send the other guys down. Actually, yeah, okay, so we routed one unit. Alright, let's not follow those routers. And he's probably going to get away. Assuming he is in fact going for the edge of the map, which you know, because he's a skirmish unit, he may just be staying out of range. So we'll bring everybody over. See if he is just being coy or if he is in fact retreating. Alright, I think he's heading out. Alright, we'll just end the battle here then. So a clear victory. We lost over 100 men. Alright, so the reinforcements, or the remaining troops, are just going to withdraw back to Dunkriok, which is one of their settlements, and we don't really have the strength rate here to follow it up. These guys are completely out of movement points, and so because of that, I don't think I'm going to put my my family member in charge of this unit. What we'll do is we'll take the opportunity. He did get a captain for some extra command. we will take the opportunity here to train up some more troops of all different types. I figure we'll get some cavalry over here since it's pretty far away. And some cavalry here. We'll go with horse archers, I guess, there. Here, though, maybe we'll go with infantry. Let's get some, let's see, how many men? Alright, Axes of the Mark. Let's go with Axes of the Mark because I'm thinking we may do some garrison stuff pretty soon, or some city fighting. So we'll go with a couple units of axes here, and let's go with Cav because I think we don't have good roads in Dunfrecka. So that'll cover all of that. What we're going to be doing is getting these guys up here to continue our push towards, well, into Dunland. So here, we just set up a siege outside of Anghall. We have, of course, established ourselves around Tharbad and Three Ways and so on. And so I do have a lot of moves with this particular army. And I'm wondering if it's worth pressing on and using them to do more damage against Tharbad. Maybe we can do something here where we hit this army and make them withdraw just outside the city, and then call it out. Now I've been a little shy about taking Sarnford, in part because I don't want to fight a city battle, but also in part because of public order problems if we were to take another city without our own dominion building. But our settlements are looking kind of okay. Let's see. Of course, Belagant is looking just fantastic. And of course, Rohan is fine. You know, the only difficulty was holding on to stuff in Harad, but I've sort of admitted to myself that that's just not going to work out. The culture penalties are too steep. We don't have that many men. I mean, maybe if we can do something in one of these cities, it would be kind of cool. But I really don't think that's going to be possible with our territory all over the place. So maybe then it is time to see about Sarnford. I think there is a noble in here. Let's see who pops out. They've got some decent units, not the spearmen so much. Okay, it's a noble. So we got a couple of spears. Well, a lot of spears actually, and some axemen. The main army we're attacking is all spears. So this is showing pretty even. It might be good to take these guys out right now with our Guthwin of the House of Bregu. He's middle-aged. He's actually a really good commander in terms of fighting. You know, he's competent, he's open-handed attacker, and accommodating, so these are good for basically morale, which is fine. But he's energetic, and he's a wary fighter, so this is really nice for his hit points. That counteracts the fact that he's currently under the weather. So let's go ahead and do this, and if we can get Sarnford, and that'd be a nice, safe little place to hold. I'm kind of thinking that Tharbad is probably training all those spearmen right out of there because they lost Three Ways, they lost their capital. And if that's true, Sarnford is probably really low on population, which also means it'll be easier to hold if we do get it. Alright, we do want to use our skirmishers because there are a decent amount of spearmen. Okay, and yeah, we'll group them up too. Okay, I guess that's pretty reasonable there. They don't have any ranged units, so maybe instead I should, instead of being conservative like this, probably get all these guys out. I think I'll lead with the mercenaries because these are the guys who can be retrained locally. My infantry can kind of hold back to pin. We'll use that as the overall formation. Oh, they're right behind me. Okay. Yeah, there's the city right there. I should have expected that. So the thing I really want to do here, if nothing else, is take out that enemy general and really bleed the numbers. So even if I don't end up getting the city for whatever reason, then we'll still be doing a lot of damage and require them to train even more. I want to bleed the population of these settlements so that they're basically empty, so that when I do take them, they'll be a lot happier at least. These are never going to be super rich, although Sarnford, I guess, can you know, have some nice income potential with trade. But that's not really the reason we're getting these. We're getting these to sort of control the territory. We're already, you know, hitting them with our couple of lines of cav. So we'll work around here with our spears, Rohan riders. There's the general straight ahead, the merchant guard. I'm going to run these guys a little bit forward. They can fall back and skirmish away as necessary. Alright, and if these guys want to fight, I'll gladly send my own cav towards them. Or my own infantry, rather. And this is the entirety of our melee line right here. Alright, so this is actually going to introduce some complications, but they're already routing. So we are so good. May catch those Dunlanding mercenaries, but I don't really think so. What do we have there? Axemen of Tharbad. Let's hit them with the mercenaries and get these guys out around the flank. I should have done that a little sooner. Get a better charge going. Alright, so there's their captain. Let's pull out these mercenaries then and get these guys off to the trees. What's this? Alright, here we have a bunch of my cavalry running into stuff. And you know, I'll send the Dunlandings over there. And let's bring the general back. Now we can hit those Rhydor spearmen. Alright, let's actually run into these axemen, because they're kind of isolated right now. Hit the Tharbad militia in the back. Alright, we managed to take these guys out. Let's go back for the axemen. And let's aim right at those merchant guard. And aim at those Tharbad militia. The axemen are losing. Alright, so we're doing decently here. Looks like our cav's getting sort of stuck into various things, and I'm not selecting the right guys. Okay, Rohan spears, get out. And Rohan riders, get out. Alright, so the Axemen of Tharbad are gone. And I think these guys are going to break too. They're wavering. So let's use our big cav, those mercenaries, to hit the back of the merchant guard. And then we'll actually get the general in on this too. Alright, let's throw in the archers and kind of everybody just as melee. There, okay, they're routing. Great. Pretty sure that means he's dead. Yeah. So, Orodreth of the House of Hama is gone. And we also got the other enemy commander, so this should be the end of it. Why did we not get the victory? Did I miss it? Did I already click continue without kind of noticing? Well, let's just keep chasing him down, I guess. The radar map is only showing a couple of units remaining, so I guess we may as well clean that up. Okay, so we do have a clear victory here. Pretty decent. A little over 100 men lost, or actually fewer, like 80 or so. I guess we had a bunch of people heal up, so maybe there's a lot of friendly fire. But in any case, we should have plenty of movement points to walk into the city. All right. Oh, good. The population is 504. That's almost as low as it can go. So we'll take it. Yeah, lay desolate. And lower the taxes. We're down to 80% without doing anything. Now, they do have control posts here, which is where they were getting those low-tier spearmen. I think I want to keep the trader, and we do probably want to keep the fiefdom dominion for now. We are working on our own, only 4 seasons, and then we'll be able to destroy that and build a new one. So this is going to make it harder for us to hold territory in, well, actually no, we do have a dominion building, but I think there is a penalty that accrues even if you have all your dominion buildings. In terms of public order, the more settlements you conquer, the more likely you are to suffer some unrest. So there's not much we can do about that apart from not conquering stuff. But down here, as we move on Umbar and so forth, it may be a little tricky for us to hold any of those territories. But we've got 5,000 to spend. I don't think I want to, though. I think we're spending it on training, and yeah, I think we're pretty good. I do want to double check around here just to see how many turns we've got. Okay, so it's 8 for both. I'm going to spend a few turns here and try to remember to save my money. I want to get it up over 90,000 and maybe over 100,000. And then we'll come back to see if we can get Dorwinion to submit to us. We do have a family member here, and we gave him the lordship just recently. So let's now, since we have him, let's do a local governance type thing to help make him more happy about us. He's supportive already, but him getting the lordship and him getting to run his own settlement should see that going up higher. Okay, Harad wants a ceasefire. Geez, do I want anything from them? Let's see, maybe they will give me... see, I could use the cash right now. I could probably get a lot of money from Harad. But on the other hand, I could get a lot of money just by sitting around and, you know, owning Rohan. So I wonder if there's any settlement that they have that I would want. And the thing is, Umbar, of course, is a city I want, but I want to exterminate the population once I get it. I don't want to get it through diplomacy because I'm going to be essentially occupying. That's the only option. So I want to take that myself. Yeah, so, and I don't know that I actually want ceasefire with them because they're going to be at war still. But let's ask for a ridiculous amount of money, right? Like, okay, I'll ceasefire with you for 100,000. Will you give me that much? There's no way. Okay. How about 50 grand? See, I'm not unreasonable. All right, just a ceasefire. I know they'll do 10,000. Okay, no. One thing I could have done, I guess, is taken a settlement from them and given it to, like, Far Harad. So I guess I could have done that. But the other thing is, these guys are... they're kind of losing territory, right? I've given Farharad a couple of their settlements already. And while Farharad is having troubles of their own, Harad is not looking too strong. So I'm a little worried that if they die out, you know, that's where the run ends, basically. Okay, so pretty typical stuff in terms of wars. Here's all our training. So we'll get those guys added to our Dunland army. Rune is the most advanced. Okay. I'm a little concerned maybe about Rune. They've got this up here, of course. They keep trying for Nergzagil and failing. They've got big armies. I kind of don't want to ever have to fight Rune. But fortunately, they're not doing much against Dorwinion right now. They still have this, of course. And do they have Mordor North? No, they don't. So that's nice. Alright, and so Tharbad is attacking the forts around Tharbad itself. That's kind of all they've got left to do, really. So it doesn't surprise me. It's, you know, it's something that we'll be able to deal with. I'll get the army back out of Sarnford, and, you know, it may mean that we're not able to hold this, but it also means that Tharbad won't be able to get it again. So if rebels take it, then we'll just deal with that. Let's see what the public order looks like with the army gone, though. Let's see if we take out all of our, like, serious infantry and cavalry. Right, it's still pretty decent. But we're going to want, like, a lot of these archers. So let's take our guys. Oh, wow, okay. Surprisingly good. Alright. I'm a little worried about this, though, not going to lie. You guys have business to attend to up here. So, although they're doing pretty good, aren't they? Maybe they thought they're helping against Tharbad? I'm not sure. But Dunabar is getting squeezed out of the north. We still got Tharbad up here. But the Reunited Kingdom is doing pretty good, so hopefully they won't get any ideas. I'm sure they will. Okay, we'll go down through here. And unfortunately, I won't be able to hit this army this turn. So we may end up losing one of these forts. You know, not a big deal. Still no action around North Rune, which is perfect. And Dale's still trying desperately to besiege Erebor. That's also probably not going to lead to much. So we have to decide what we're going to do in the south. You know, I do see now that I could take Athendad or possibly take it. Again, though, Farharad is, you know, holding on in some areas, and they do have some other territories. I'm a little worried Khan is going to take it from them, but I'd rather get one of these western cities. So let's see what Umbar looks like. All right, there's nothing outside of it.
Captain.
We could. Okay, and there's even mercenaries available. Let's see. What we could do here...
Captain.
Okay, we can't besiege it with this army, but we can hit this army. So let's hit them away. Oh, and they're going to stick and fight. Okay, let's do it. Maybe we'll get a man of the hour. Alright, and once again, we've got Rohan riders leading the army here. Our best infantry is our Shields of the Mark. Otherwise, we've got some Axes of the Mark. We really don't want to lose these guys, obviously. But we have a decent amount of Bowmen of Rohan. I'm wondering if it would make sense Let's see. They've got some good cav, but I think that's what, you know, my cav is going to be for, facing their cav. The archers are going to pick apart the infantry. These guys will go over here, and I'll keep the captain sort of in the back. Alright, so we'll take a closer look here. They've got some Umbar Guard, which is a pretty cool unit. And it's, of course, unique to Umbar, I'm pretty sure. This is not the unique Palace Guard unit, which is the same model and texture, but I think better stats. They do have some Swords of Harad, a couple of units, and some Corsairs of Umbar, again, a very neat-looking unit, but pretty vulnerable to arrows. I'm by far more worried about the cavalry. And so we'll have to ensure that we're the ones doing the charging with these guys, especially the Scarlet Shields, because they have a fear effect as well. Yeah, frighten the nearby enemy, and so we will be on the receiving end of some fear. And we do not have a high-tech army, so we'll be pretty vulnerable to that. Right, we're hitting swordsmen from the front. We are doing some damage. I'm going to order them to attack the Corsairs of Umbar on this side. Alright, that's going to bring out the cavalry there. Let's hold out on our javelins and just charge in with spears. Yeah, we've got our lances lowered, so that'll be a decent charge, and we'll take out the first rank or so of these guys. We are going to get some other units moving in. Let's bring our lancers around. We want to hit those Scarlet Shields if possible, and obviously break these cav. Alright, they're given the pull back order. Charge in there, and let's get out of here. We'll have to take out that unit. Bring the general up around the left. These guys here, we'll put them on fire at will. We took out a bunch of those Scarlet Shields. See, this is why this is a good unit. Now, this unit was just standing here, the Scarlet Shields, and these three guys get some decent charging. But that's the thing, you don't underestimate these Lancers. It's like, yeah, they don't have shields. But so what? You get a good charge set up. Alright, let's all just charge into the back of those Swords of Harad. Notice the Umbar Guard is now routing. Lovely to see. But you guys are supposed to be providing a morale bonus. Swords of Harad are probably going to be wavering too, because everybody around them is already routing. They're under fire, yep. Alright, you can just halt your fire. That was a lot of fun. Nice open battlefield. Able to get the kind of charges and matchups we wanted. Didn't get our archers run into by too much, I don't think. And now just running down these dudes with our cav. Great stuff. Yeah, Rohan spears, the Rovanian scouts, another unit, just amazing. And so by the same token, I think it's, what are they called? The Merchant Scouts for Tharbad, which is basically this unit. Get a lot of hate, at least on the Discord, but I think to some extent it's in good fun, right? Because that's literally the only cav unit Tharbad gets, at least in its homelands. And they are certainly the most susceptible to all sorts of problems. But they are actually a pretty decent unit. it really requires you to use them in a particular way. They have to have the right kind of matchups. You have to be using them actively. You can't leave them to sit around. So let's see. We can get 3 of these. We can get a couple of ladders. Let's maintain the siege. We can't get hit from this army, but they could send something after us from Karis Nan, I guess. But otherwise, I'm feeling pretty decent. Now, I think there's another army right outside here that could come back and hit my my captainless army. So that could be a problem to worry about for later. But at any rate, let's go back up here. Anything we need doing? Okay, we do have all these guys trained, so let's move them up. All right, they don't even have anything built to assault this camp, and there's 2 turns left. So that means there's enough time for us to get all these armies together and then attack. So even if all of them can't quite reach this turn, they will next turn, and that's all we need. Alright, but let's keep up the momentum in terms of training. And let's get a few archers. Let's get some more lancers. What are you? Well, yeah, let's get some spears. Okay, now down here, we are drawing an awful lot of attention from Dunland. And the purpose of this move was mostly I think, to keep them away from us. And potentially to try to get some of their more desirable territories. I don't particularly want Anghal. But if I could get over here to Dunkreok, which I can, or close to, I'd rather do that. I don't really want to fight over Anghal. So let's go here. Okay, it actually doesn't look like we can quite reach there. So maybe what I'll do is set up in the trees. Let's see if we can do an ambush. And then we'll see what that looks next season. Okay, we are certainly attacked by a big, huge army here. So it looks like they probably combined the army that was standing outside as well as the garrison. And this is pretty decent. They've got some more Umbar Guard. They've got some more Scarlet Shields. Okay, they've got a good amount of cav and a good amount of good infantry and even some archers. So this is a very, very nice, reasonable army. So what I'm going to do is something that, let's see, will this work out? I guess we're going to try it. So if you don't want to fight a battle because you think you're going to lose, but you know that if you withdraw on a campaign map, like I could have pressed withdraw right there, but I only would have taken a few steps away. And so if you think the AI is going to have movement points to follow up and hit on the same turn, making it impossible for you to withdraw, what you want to do is this, what I'm doing right now. And it's basically go to the battlefield, get all your guys like over to the edge of the battlefield, start the battle, and click withdraw here. So now they're all withdrawing. And, you know, I don't really, this is a really a very balanced, good army for Harad. And we do not have a very balanced, good army. So we're going to withdraw. What this does, for some reason, withdrawing on the battlefield allows you to withdraw a lot farther than if you withdraw on a campaign map. And again, this doesn't really make any sense. But I'm wondering what's going to happen now because I don't have any territory anywhere near where I am. So we may lose this entire army, which would be sad. But maybe it'll happen. This will be an experiment in the name of science. So if the army disappears, that's why. And you only want to do this when you have a territory nearby to retreat to. No, we withdrew up to allied territory. Awesome. Okay, so that's what I'm not sure is if there were no allied provinces around where I was located, because my army was here in this province belonging to this settlement. So if this was owned by Harad and none of the other provinces were owned by any friendlies, would I not retreat anywhere, right? Would the army just vaporize? So that's what I'm not sure about. But so you can withdraw to allied territory. That's interesting. So now we do have to fight this one. But we withdrew there a lot farther than we would have if I had just clicked withdraw on the campaign map. I don't know why that is. I think that what happens is if you withdraw on the battle map, the game assumes that you're desperately fleeing for your lives and it's a rout, basically, because that's what it appears to be when you click the withdraw button. All your guys show little white flags and it's all very demoralizing. But if you do it sort of intentionally, it's not a rout at all. It's just a tactical withdrawal. So it's a little weird how the game calculates it, but in a situation like that, yeah, I'm okay with using it. All right, and we do have this one single mercenary dragon shield rider, which I should probably just disband, but I can't bring myself to do it. All right, here's our axes of the mark. I guess we'll put our spears over on the left, and everyone attacking us is kind of weak. They're going to be coming from right here. So I guess we could get like on this rock formation. I don't think it's going to matter all that much. Let's get our archers like there. These guys over here, and now we have a couple of units that, or one unit that causes fear actually. So this is where he could come in handy. Because I don't have any other fear-causing units. So we'll have a single Dragon Shield Rider terrorizing the enemy. And this is going to be good because this is a pretty weak army. I mean, we probably won't need the fear effect. But they do have some archers and some swords, and if we can get them to rout faster, great. Okay, so they're going to be trying to get around us. Let's send an archer then up to the top of the hill. And see if they do anything. Yeah, it looks like they're just... Okay, I was wondering if they're going to do that. The AI always does this thing of going one way and then the other. Alright, the archers are hanging around over there. So we may need to get our cavalry around. Footmen are having a hard time getting to us, but not the swords. And the swords are a unit that let's start scaring them, and let's charge them, in fact. So we can prevent them from throwing at us. Yeah, there we go. Alright, now we can pull away and avoid friendly fire. Only 3 archers left. And they've got nowhere to run. Alright, and that's it. We'll just shoot these fish and then get back on the campaign map. Alright, Harad tried to get an army over there, but did not actually. Okay, and we ambush a host of Dunlandings, but it's a failure, so they'll have time to prepare. I don't know that I want that, because I don't want to attack this army. They're probably going to have some cover, because we're, of course, ambushing in forest. They're going to be stationary. They're going to spring all these archers out. So I'm going to withdraw from that. And then they'll attack me again. Alright, and now at least I'm on the defensive. And that means I can set up the way I like. Alright, we have a very weird army here. We've got 3 bowmen of Rohan. We've got 2 Dunlanding mercenaries. 5 Rohan spears, the Lancers. We've got some Rittermark scouts, a couple of Rohan riders with javelins, riders of the Mark, and then our general, Galmod of Aldburg. So we're on the defensive, but the ground here is actually terrible in terms of defense. There's not really any particularly good place to be. The AI is going to have ranged units, and so it's not that we necessarily want to close, but we want to we want to be able to get around them, I guess. So to that end, I want to bring my Lancers over here. I'm going to risk tiring them out a bit. I'm going to keep my other guys kind of here. The bowmen are far enough away from each other that hopefully they won't draw a lot of fire. This is a pretty large army. We can't withdraw because we already withdrew from the ambush, so to speak. On the plus side, this is commanded by a captain, I think, not a family member. Yeah, this is Dunlandish horsemen. So that's a little annoying. This may be a tricky unit to corner. They don't have too many spears. There are some pikes, I think. Some tribal spearmen. And there is a risk in splitting up my cav like this. So we'll ameliorate that somewhat by bringing the left wing closer in. Alright, let's come over here. And we're going to get these guys between our cav wings. They're shaken already. They're probably going to rout. Let's go back in that direction. Okay, they're routing. Which means we can go up the hill again. We're going to take some fire. There's just no way to avoid that. Alright, that's Dunlandish Axemen. Let's pull back a little bit further. And that is Wolf Hunters. Let's send our heavy hitters after them. And pull away from their javelins. Charge into those axemen. All these other guys are just going to have to skirmish and look after themselves. Alright. Okay, good. Wolf Hunters down. Let's see. We'll get over this way. The axemen have not routed yet, which is unfortunate. There they go. Pull right through and get this back line of skirmishers. There are some wolfhounds over here that I'd like to get, and of course the general. But he's not going to be an easy target. Let's get the warhounds now. Go after these bowmen. And everyone can get in on the warhounds. Meanwhile, they can just chase my skirmish line away. Alright, pull down into... Alright, let's actually cancel that. Move this group back into position a little further in the trees. And it looks like they've got some tribal pikes chasing my skirmishers. That's totally fine. What is this? Tribal spearmen. Let's put you back on skirmish along with you guys. Right, they're reloading, which means they're hitting my horse archers, which sucks. But you know, I could just about ignore those spearmen and go after other things. Not quite yet. Alright, let's send the general in. We're going to be hit from the back and the front. Let's blow the horn so the general isn't the first casualty. Alright, and they melt. Everybody can come down the hill. Some hillmen who are still brave. We'll ignore them. This is the only unit I'm still really worried about. There's some pikemen down there, but we'll just shoot them with whatever we have handy. We're going to ignore the hillmen, get all these guys down the hill. Bowmen are routing. Let's go after the Dunlandish horsemen then. And everyone can charge down into these huntsmen. They're going to take some casualties. Alright, so now we're getting into the spearmen. You know, let's pull away, I guess. Alright, spearmen are now routing. There goes the captain. What's that? Axes of the Wolf? Great. Tired those guys out. Tribal pikes, there's only 25 of them. Alright, so I'll send these guys after the Axes of the Wolf. Pretty decent unit, but we should be okay. And for the pikes, we don't have any more. Okay, they're routing. We'll be able to shoot them down with our mercenaries. Awesome. And I think they're not going to come back. But yeah, javelins are going to do a lot of damage to them. And this is also Dunlanding mercenaries. Let's see. I'm going to actually have them not skirmish. They're going to get a shot off, and then we'll have them run again.
Keep your distance.
Alright, I don't know if we actually did any damage there. We did. We took out 2. They're very tired, and then our guys are going to come. We don't have a lot of room to maneuver. So let's turn around and shoot here. Just as the Riders of the Mark hit them. They should be getting some javelins to the face. That'll do it anyway. Alright, great. So who's not routing? Because we didn't get the continue message. I mean, those guys... okay, here we go. The Hillmen. Alright, we'll just speed that up. Alright, I think we will continue here because it would be nice to kill a bunch of these guys. Although I don't think they're going to come back. Alright, I guess now we'll end. Alright, about a couple hundred losses, but not too bad for a battle I didn't really want to fight in the first place. Oh, we got another one. Okay. So this is looking a little, I don't know, maybe a little more dangerous. They got, I think, a few more spears. They got a couple of cav, some archers, and it's going to be the same exact ground. But I can't withdraw. So we have to do it. Alright, so we're going to do kind of the same thing, except I've got my line, I've got my few skirmishers over more to the left, so they're not, like, directly downhill. And the cavalry's taking more of the central role here. I think we'll still do the same basic type of thing, where we just try to maneuver around them and separate units out. But the AI is going to behave a little bit differently this time, just because they have a different army composition, and also my units are in a different position. I'd love to eliminate their cav if I could. And it looks like they're getting in a pretty decent position. I'm noticing, actually, that a bunch of my archers are hidden, which I did not notice initially. So that's probably what they're doing. They're looking for the hidden units. That's also, you know, why they're sort of coming out slowly and skirmishing away. It's going to make these guys a little more annoying to get. guess there's no pikes this time. I'm going to do my best to ignore these Dunlandish horsemen. We do have our horse archers. We've got our own Rohan riders, so they're going to, you know, get under fire just as much as we are. Okay, they're sending the axemen, but also their general over. But also their spearmen. So let's just everybody go in and try to break these axes. They're attacking at range. Pull out. Pretty soon we're going to reveal our archers. Actually, they're already shooting. Alright, let's go and see if we can get their enemy captain. Alright, wolf hunters. Yeah, let's just keep pulling the cavalry back and away. We did manage to connect with those horsemen.
The enemy general is running away.
Alright, he's routing, but we're getting a lot of javelin fire. Alright, he's down. Let's go on through the trees here. Alright, we do have to find a way to deal with these spearmen, but it's probably just going to be, you know, kill them with our scary cav. We've got bowmen there. I guess we can make a little detour to get them. Yeah, and these guys are just going to get away from me. So let's actually change direction. Alright, they've chased some of our archers. They got some tribal spearmen up in the trees, some down here. Let's just throw in on them, though. Like, honestly. There they go. So these are not going to be good charges. But it is enough. Alright. We got some axemen, some spearmen. Yeah, they're... See how much damage they do with those javelins before our guys can even skirmish, so it's very unfortunate. Alright, let's bring the general over here. Looks like they're moving away, so we're presenting their backs, which is great. Oh, and what's that? Their cavalry that we ignored? Fair enough. Alright, we've killed 89%. Thinking as soon as we get the routing message, I'm going to take it. It's probably just going to take bringing our cavalry near these units. Alright, there we go. We definitely are bleeding men, but that was a couple of decently sized armies. Yeah, looking at it, I'm thinking it was a pretty substantial chunk of their forces. We're going to ignore trade offers from the elves, at least for the moment. We do share a border with them in Mythland, actually, so maybe that's something we can do later. And we're going to ignore trade from Adudabar. Just trying to keep those factions off our backs. Alright, and they got an army around to Tharbad itself. Well, I think we'll be spending the next turn just chasing these armies away. Looks like Tharbad and Dunland have allied, of course. We're up to 90,000 in the bank, so if we can keep this stuff going... Okay, they're going to want to stand and fight. I think I'll save this for the following episode, though. We'll deal with this. We'll bring our army down, probably meet up with this army, and then probably go after Dunkriok and then Dunhold. We'll see what we need to do, but I think I want to make sort of a connection here. But at any rate, I'll see you in the next episode, and until then, take care.